What's up, everybody? Welcome to the House of Mario, episode 69. We are the Nintendo podcast, a part of the 8-Bit Collective. I'm your host, Drew Agnew, alongside, as always, Bryce the Wit.
Howdy, howdy.
Today on the show, we're at PAX, and we've got three special guests. We've got Eric Zauch from Nintendo Everything.
Is no one else going to say nice at episode 69, or is it just me?
hey, I was waiting for it.
Yeah.
I was saying to Bryce on the way here, I'm like, do you realise this is episode 69? This is a momentous occasion. It's really exciting.
I'm sorry, Teehee. All right. Yeah.
We've got Riley Huppatz. He's a game dev here.
Happy to be here.
So just for you guys who don't know Riley, he's a good friend of ours from high school. Been keeping up ever since. How you going, man?
Yeah, really good. Excited to be at PAX and debuting on your podcast.
Yes. Are you excited?
Yeah, I am.
Actually, your first debut was AvCon, but that was that wasn't really like, that was more like a shortcut interview than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
And we got Buddy Watson from Dash Culture.
Yeah, returning again.
Yes.
Yep.
I don't know who's been on more, Eric or Buddy?
Buddy. I reckon Buddy.
You've been on two, and you've been on...
This will be two, I think. Because
Oh,
you
three.
came onto ours.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've been on Dash Culture, but you know it's been like back and forth. But I've at least been on Nintendo by Numbers when it was running.
Yes.
No. Yeah.
So that means I win, right? Buddy
So-
loses.
In other words, the numbers sort of stack up. They're about even.
Yeah.
I reckon that's all right. Yeah.
So, guys, we'll start off. How's your PAX been?
Bryce?
Okay, well, I'll start then. My PAX has been Nintendo. Nintendo and indies for the most part. There's massive lines to just about everything on Saturday, Sunday. There was games I wanted to play like Devil May Cry that were on the show floor. Didn't find out about them till Saturday morning, so I didn't get the chance. But I did play Kingdom Hearts, which was a big one, so that's done. But other than that, no, it's been a pretty good time walking around, seeing everything. First PAX, great experience, enjoying it.
Yeah.
Been drinking every night.
Oh, it's been crazy, yeah. What about yourself, Eric?
My PAX has been alright. My legs are now dead. The centre is getting more smelly by the moment.
Yeah.
But we've only got like about 4 or 5 hours left, though. I think I can survive.
Yeah, so this is like the two of you's first PAX.
Yes,
Is it what you expected? Is it like, how would you compare it to what you thought?
Well, I've just kind of jumped straight into the media end. Like, I haven't done any of just exploring myself type of thing. And it's been massive. Like, it's just constantly going from one thing to the next, to the next, to the next, and just talking to devs. But it's fun. I'll give you that. But it just kills you. Like, just walking around for that many hours, and then you go out at night, you're making sure you're drinking, you're interacting with everyone. And, it's just a big 3-4 days, and you're just ready for it to end by the end. I think everyone is ready for it to end.
See, you think it kills you, but you're also a city boy. I know the city's much smaller,
Yes.
but like from us that come from the humdrum town of Millicent,
The Boondocks.
yeah, the Boondocks, exactly. Like, yeah, it's going into Adelaide is enough of an experience for us, let alone going into the middle of Melbourne and
Oh, it is
experiencing all this.
crazy here. Like, everyone's
Yeah,
just out
it
there
is.
beeping their horns, jaywalking. I don't know what is going on. I'm not used to this. What about yourself,
Guilty.
buddy? How's your PAX been?
It's been good. It's really good. This is my third PAX, but I will say that this has actually been my best PAX. Last year I did a lot of panels. This year I'm doing playing a lot more games in a better mind state, and actually enjoying everyone else's friendship. Like, last year would have been like the first time I'd met Drew and Bryce, and now I guess I'm a little bit more comfortable. We've interacted, we've done podcasts together, and it feels like this year I can remove the internet in front of the friends tag that I've been given to all of my internet friends, so to speak, and now I can just call you all friends and be a lot more comfortable and enjoying the social side of it a bit more. So
That's a great explanation of it too, because that's basically what it was for a very long time, sort of thing. And honestly, like with us traveling between things like this, it's kind of like, well, why haven't we sort of made these sort of meetups more commonly? But I suppose it's just a perfect opportunity. You know. So that's great,
What about you, Riley? What have you been doing?
So I've mainly been just wandering around, taking everything in. A lot of the lines for AAA games are just too long when I know if I'm going to buy the game already before I try it. So I did play some Nintendo things. Smash, obviously. Been waiting forever. How could I not?
So what did you think of Smash?
It felt more different than I was expecting. I think in my head when I looked at it, I was like, oh yeah, this is just going to be like Smash U, but with more characters. And it's really a lot heavier than that. which isn't a bad thing at all. It's just going to take me a while to get used to it. I tried picking up Snake, who I haven't played in 5 years, and thinking I'd just be the best again, and I got utterly destroyed.
Yeah.
But yeah, can't wait to get my hands on it, obviously. Also tried out Rage 2, which was a lot of fun, and then mainly just been playing indies.
Awesome. So what did you think of Rage 2? I know it's not Nintendo, but I am curious because I don't think we got to try it out.
I'm hearing a lot about it.
But
I think Rage 1 just didn't hit what they wanted to hit, and this time they've kind of made this perfect blend of what was Rage 1, the Doom combat engine, and some sort of like weird mash of Borderlands culture in it as well. And you just have this weird, fun, stupid experience that is shaping up to be fantastic.
It does look like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just depends what else is coming out that time of the year, next year. And,
yeah, definitely. It could easily be one of those games that gets drowned under, your Red Deads or your like something huge like that.
Yeah.
Can we talk about some other weird, fun, stupid experiences? And has anyone played the Goose Game?
No.
I've seen many things about the Goose Game.
Oh,
See, look,
Buddy's got the badge.
Buddy's got that big
Buddy
old badge.
Watson,
It's the biggest badge.
inform us about the Goose Game, my friend.
Goose Game is going to be Game of the Year in 2019. Mark my words, clip this out, do whatever you need to do to prove to me that I was right or wrong next year, but it's right.
As long as Overcooked 2 is still Game of the Year this right?
Celeste.
Celeste
is Game of the Year, people.
I mean, okay, but
Stay on brand.
yeah, no. But before that was released, it's going to be Game of the Year. Come on.
Well, okay, well,
I know Celeste is amazing.
Celeste 1, Overcooked 2 next year, Goose Game, Game of the Year.
You're definitely on about that, because that Goose Game, I just noticed there has been a constant line. Like the other indies in Nintendo's booth, there's people coming and going. You can get in if you want to. That Goose Game, you've got no hope. You want to be waiting at least an hour and a half to play that game.
Yeah. That's why we haven't played it.
Yeah, exactly.
I think everyone looks at it and you're just so puzzled at what it is. You have to try it for yourself.
I was watching some girl play it, and she was just dragging this pumpkin around, and she was spinning it around, and you're just seeing the pumpkin roll.
Yeah.
Like, God, the physics look good.
Yeah.
Like,
Physics
you wouldn't
are
expect
great.
it. Like, but according to the reps at the booth, they were saying that it's actually Australian developed. I don't know if that's true because they said all of the games were Australian developed, and obviously some weren't.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
House developing it. Yeah, because we stuffed up because we had an hour on Friday to go and check everything out. And we said, all right, Smash. We went and played 2 games of Smash. We went and played Pokemon. But then there were no lines for Smash, so we ended up playing half an hour of Smash. So that's probably on us. But, we get blindsided when it comes to Super Smash Brothers. So.
And to be fair, it's the biggest thing they've got this year. They have that many screens.
Yeah.
And,
I was actually a little surprised at how... I know there's a lot of Pokemon, but I kind of thought that would be taking up more room than Smash. Because it just has maybe more general appeal. But
it'll probably sell twice as much as Smash. Easily.
I guess Smash has the benefit of you can just shove people in really fast compared to Pokemon.
Yeah, because there's a 10-minute demo, and it's only the one TV where you can have probably 5 minutes on 4 people on Smash. But yeah, like this being you guys' first Smash, not Smash, PAX.
How old do you think I am?
Yeah, first Smash. I've never played Smash before. Yeah, but have you guys noticed the booths just being so much bigger this year because of EB Expo being blended in? The Nintendo booth alone is probably twice the size. Like, it's really impressive just how same with PlayStation, Xbox, Ubisoft. It's really cool to see.
Yeah, they really decked up the Nintendo booth. It looks really cool. I'm surprised that so many people, I shouldn't say surprised because I'm not surprised, but really if I was coming to PAX as just a general consumer, I'm not going to come here to check out Smash or to check out Pokemon. I'm going to buy those games anyway. I know what they're going to be like. There's going to be reviews around. The other little indie games that are around are the real star for me. Just going and checking them out and just going to all the different booths and actually getting my hands on with them because they're the type of things you don't always get to get your hands on.
Definitely.
There's not a lot of impressions around there. And so seeing those things is kind of special to me. Are there any that kind of standed out to you guys in the indie area itself?
We'll talk about it later, but probably Soundfall was the one that really appealed to me.
Yeah.
Just its art style, and I love rhythm games, so it was right up my alley.
So what about the Nintendo booth? Is anything standing out in the actual booth itself?
Smash and Pokemon was pretty good. Yeah, I enjoyed that. Yeah. No, that was great.
we can watch a match right now and do the podcast. It's amazing. It's a massive screen up there.
So what would be some highlights for you guys? Maybe some favourite games or Just like favourite booths, maybe favourite experiences, favourite panels.
Go around that one.
Start it, buddy.
Yeah.
Come around.
Anti-clockwise.
The games, Scouts Honor, Untitled Goose Game, Tunic from the Xbox
Oh,
Indies.
yes.
Heard that.
Was really good, and it's right up my alley type of game. And the other thing that I checked out today that I was really surprised by, I don't really not into tabletops or board games type stuff. I walked past a guy at a booth, and it was called Chess Plus.
I have seen this.
Have you
yes.
seen this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good, where all the chess pieces except for the king are half pieces, and you can actually merge pieces together, and then those pieces have both abilities of that piece. But if that piece gets taken, you lose both those pieces.
Oh.
And you can unmerge them later. So hypothetically, your first move could be bishop into pawn. Then you can bishop at the end of the board, split that pawn, and get it close to becoming a queen straight away. So it adds a whole new element to chess, and a lot more fun, and something that I'm not into chess or whatever. I think it's a bit slow and cumbersome and a bit more strategical for someone of my intelligence. But chess Plus adds a bit more of a fun element to it. So that's a bit of a surprise for me.
Yeah.
What about you, Riley?
I think I may be a little bit biased because my friend's working on the game, but I think Ashen was actually one of my highlights. Mainly just because it's that sort of a Souls-like loop that you get from Dark Souls or any of those variants. But the world felt a lot more appealing to me, and that was something I've been looking for in that sort of game in a while.
It's not as dire.
Yeah, and I'm personally am quite put off of that look of Dark Souls and Bloodborne and those things. And it's nice for me to be able to step into this genre. Not that it's an easier game, but at a lighter take on it.
Yeah.
That and just I'm kind of a sucker for specialty items, and I went and bought some stupidly expensive D&D dice. So that's always fun. Yeah, they're my highlights.
Bryce?
I think the two indies that grabbed me the most were probably Party Crashers and Storm Boy.
Yeah.
Storm Boy, thematically, is based really close to us at the Coorong. That game looks really nice with the art style it's got. There was only 4 mini games on show, which kind of says, no, there's not much there at the moment. But it plans to go over the entire book of Storm Boy, and running around with Mr. Percival on the beach, you draw a penis in the sand if you're really feeling it, but they had a little diving mini game that was one of the coolest things, where you dove underwater, and just the art style and everything that's going on with the lighting and stuff like that just made it look absolutely
It's
brilliant.
aesthetically really pleasing, but it will come down to price on that, I think. Just with the actual what you're actually doing, like the mini games, they're very, very, very simple.
Yeah,
and it was originally developed.
But there's a whole story attached to that. Don't forget that.
Yeah. They were originally developing it for iOS, so it kind of shows you sort of what they had in mind to start off with before they went for Switch and PlayStation and Xbox.
But yeah, Party Crashers.
Yeah.
Party Crashers is really endearing.
A lot of fun.
800 different types of customizations for that.
Whew.
Yeah, it's
I
crazy.
reckon if we have a party, that's going to stand right next to Super Smash Brothers as like a party game. That is so much fun.
It is.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. We went to the party mode panel last night. That was the first game they cracked out for party mode, and it's just a whole lot of fun. It's just like try to survive with your car. It's like if you're not really good at that, there's walls. If you want to mix it up a little bit, you get teleporting walls, so you're playing like Portal whenever you go through them.
Have you guys played Party Golf or the new one coming out soon, Party Poppers at all?
We watched Party Poppers.
Party Poppers.
Okay.
To get to play it.
They are both just as customizationable.
Yeah.
And especially Party Golf, which is their first game in their party series.
Yeah.
Amazing. It's just 2D golf and how well it works in a party setting. I can't believe how well it does. And the Party Popper seems to be really cool too, although it's still about a year away from now anyway. But they seem to be making, Giant Margarita, they seem to be making this really cool series of party games that I just hope one day they just put it into a pack and say, here's a pack of all our best party games and sell that to people, because I reckon that will do really well.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Well, as far as my kind of games that have stood out to me, I'm going to go right next door and say Piku Niku and Gris. That they've been published by Devolver Digital, and they're both really cool. Especially Piku Niku, it's kind of its look is like Mr. Men. That's all I can say.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys know Mr. Men, but it's basically like they had Mr. Men. They said, here's the rejects from Mr. Men, the guys that weren't special enough, and put them in their own quirky little town. And that's exactly what the game is. It's just so quirky. The dialogue's really, really funny, and it's just there's so many different ways that you just do stuff in that town. I don't even know why it's so fun, but you're just collecting apples. You're trying to solve puzzles with these weird townspeople, and just like you don't play it in 2-player as well, which is just like this puzzle mode. It's kind of like a separate part of the game, and it's puzzle mode, and like you just kick each other and try to solve the puzzles. The whole game was just really fun. And then Gris is kind of like this. I can only explain it as feeling like Journey, but like a 2D Journey.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and it has this really beautiful, almost hand-drawn type of art style that, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of Journey. I know that's kind of like blasphemy to say, but I'm not a big fan of Journey. But this game here really kind of took me away. The music is just kind of endearing, and it seems that we're going to be kind of having this emotional story with, I'm not actually sure what the main character's name is, but it looks like we're going to have some sort of emotional story with her, so I'm really looking forward to those two, as well as Soundfall, but I reckon you're going to chat about that, so I'm not going to mention anything about Soundfall just yet.
Soundfall was a highlight for me. I'm a big sucker for rhythm games, and it's really a different take on the rhythm game. The developers sort of explained it as like like sort of play it as if you're beatboxing. You're sort of just like mixing your button combinations together. Yep. Played through, got to the 3rd level, and the 3rd level kicked my ass. I think it's definitely a game you need to practice at and get better at. But yeah, actually, as far as panels go, the highlight for me would have been the party mode last night.
Party mode was fantastic. It was a lot of fun.
Our friend Jack Cruz, and also a member of the ATEBIT Collective, did a fantastic job of hosting.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
He said he didn't sleep last night because he was on the bloody...
He had 2 Notos and 7 espresso martinis.
How is that man not dead?
This morning he's still hyper.
I can not surprise.
I just saw him at lunch. I think he's coming down.
Yeah, he's going to crash hard by 4 o'clock. I don't think we'll see him tonight for after show drinks.
No.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun to watch, and obviously the highlights for me was going to the Nintendo booth, playing Super Smash Brothers, and getting a hold of Pokemon. Even though Pokemon's only 2 weeks away, it's nice to be like, oh, cool.
Played it.
Yeah,
it's
played it.
there, yeah. I know what I'm expecting now.
Yeah,
it's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little about the indie games. We actually got some interviews this weekend with the indie devs. So we'll throw it over to Zain from Brinko and enjoy the interview. I was about to say episode. All right, we're here with Zain, the creator of Brinko. How you going, man?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good, thanks. So we're here just at the demo station at PAX. Tell us a little bit about your game and what it's all about.
So Brinko is an event-based game, so it doesn't give you any levels to complete. So it's an area, and if you want to take part in the events of the world, then you can, or if you want to ignore, then you can sit back and see what happens with the game. And hopefully someone else in the AI would want to save the world. But there won't be any enemies or any bosses waiting in their castle for you to come and attack them.
Yep. So it's a lot like I've played for about 10 minutes, and the mechanics are sort of you're playing as your character, and you're putting down platforms for yourself to jump on. You sort of got to work out where you've got to go to collect the coins and get to the door at the end. Are there any sort of games that sort of inspired this, or is this something you've been thinking about for a fair while? Or
Well, yeah, with regards to the platform being placed, the main idea behind that was that I wanted people to do whatever they want. So placing the platform was one feature, and there's another feature where the character is in a bubble and he can go anywhere he wants. So I'm making all the features for the player to do whatever they want, and it's the same integration with the event-based game that I'm talking about, They can do whatever they want in the game. So that's being, rippled as much as you can. So I'm keeping it as open as it's possible.
No, it's really cool. Like, it looks really neat. You said you've been developing the game for about 4 months. You're like, this isn't your main job. So, how have you found sort of balancing your game development with what you're doing to make your bread and butter?
Yes, that's the biggest reason. You have to earn bread and butter. So I was lucky enough to get, jobs which would allow me to work slightly less so I can work on my game. So they're happy with it. As long as I don't have any attraction for the game, I will be working, my part-time or, full-time on the game as much as I can. But again, I have to go back to my full-time job as well and earn some money and put it back in the game as much as I can.
I think a lot of us can relate to that sort of you've got your passion, you really want to work on it, but you've got to do other things. Yeah. So the game's coming to Switch and Steam. I always like asking indie developers this. So Steam's obviously the easiest platform to get it on. It's developed on PC, so getting it to run on PC's like one of the easiest platforms to get it going on. But what makes you want to bring it to Switch as opposed to PlayStation and Xbox? Are they easier to work with? Is the hardware easy to work with? What draws you to the Nintendo platform?
I would actually say that the hardware-wise, Nintendo is probably becoming more indie-friendly now. It wasn't before, like a year ago or a year and a half ago. Sony or Xbox were probably more friendly. But the game is more Switch-oriented, so it gives you a feeling of a family-friendly game, and it's fits in well with all the other games that are in Nintendo. So I can't imagine myself, putting it on Xbox unless I really, really have to go down the lane. My first priority, even more than Steam, would be Switch.
Yep, that's fair enough. Like a lot of games, especially indie games, they've seen huge success on Switch just because the art style, the gameplay, it really comes down to what Nintendo fans want. There's a game called Blossom Tales, which is basically a very Zelda-like game. And what was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. I've lost my words. It's getting late.
It's also coming to Switch probably, and the market for Switch is completely different from the market for Xbox and PlayStation. I don't want to spend a lot of time if people don't want to play. The Xbox currently is more of the live gaming, and PlayStation is more of the serious single-player games. So this is more of a casual game that you can play and hopefully play for half an hour, play for an episode and leave it down, and when you get time again, play another episode and see how it goes. So it's something between the casual, it's not as casual as a mobile game casual, but it's casual enough to keep you entertained for a while.
So you said about the episode sort of structure. What made you think about making your game episodic rather than just putting it all out at once?
Well, and that's another thing. When you are working full-time and then you have to build a game development, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of people work really hard and they don't have as much time to play on it. So recently I bought Spider-Man, which probably everyone has bought Spider-Man, but yeah, it's a massive, gigantic game. It's the same with God of War and any other game that I've bought recently. And I get, I would want to play. If you really want to enjoy the game, you have to keep on playing it. But if it's something like a TV series that you watch an episode and you go back whenever you get time, that's what I'm aiming for this game, that you pick up an episode, you play an episode, you don't miss anything, you don't have to plan your 30 hours around a game, and you play whenever you want, whenever you are comfortable.
Yeah, that's great, because like people like myself are often quite busy, and when you come back, you just want to play, you want to finish it that bit in the night and feel satisfied and come back to it. And also, like you said, it suits your lifestyle as well, sort of developing the game. You can put out a bit out as you go rather than have to just cram it all in at once, yeah?
Yeah, and that gives me a bit more cushion to, release the later episodes while I'm still working on them. So I can still release the early episodes, and I can keep on working on the next episode, and people can expect it to come out sooner, while I do some testing.
Yeah, so if people are interested in checking out the game, finding out more information, where can they look?
Currently, I still have to register a company, so it's on my personal website, which is zenolazan.com/Brinko. You can look it up, but as soon as if I register anything anytime soon, that might change or that might stay the same depending on how it goes.
Oh, too easy, and thank you very much for joining me on the House of Mario today, Zain.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, did any of you guys get to play Brinko?
I did have a quick chance to play some Brinko and talk to Zain himself. He's a really nice guy. I forget where he's down from, but But yeah, he's an international developer. But Brinko, it's in early development, so it's not very far along. So the footage that like you probably got and that we got, I've actually seen the game. It's very early, but his ideal for the game and where he's going for it seems really interesting to me. Like, I'm kind of excited to see where he can take it and if he can take those ideals somewhere, because he's kind of going for this almost Disney-inspired type of look and feel to the game. But at the moment, he hasn't got any of that heart in there. He's just kind of got the platforming and putting that type of stuff together. What do you guys think of it?
I actually didn't get to play it.
It was very, very early on. It's his second job, and he's spent about 4 months time on it, so it's really early. He's still thinking of ideas. He's just like got the concept there.
That's if he can pull these ideals together and pull the idea together at the end product, which is still about a year away, I think it could be something that's cool. But just at the moment, it's still just very much, here's a tech demo of what the game is. And I think maybe he's bringing it to here a little bit early, but we'll see how he goes. He's only doing half-an-hour episodes at a time, and he's planning on releasing that one half-an-hour episode in the years from now. So at the end product might be fantastic.
I suppose the benefit of bringing it to this show, whilst it's very early on and it's a rough environment to show an early on game, is he can hopefully take on board all of the feedback he's getting and make a more polished experience.
Well, that's what you guys did with Space Beards at AvCon.
Yeah, exactly. There's a much smaller idea, because AvCon's a very small convention compared to this, but it is really invaluable just to see what crowds think of your game, basically.
Yeah.
Just giving out badges here. So it looks good, but no, I pretty much agree with it. It's just way too early to be here, but
I hope people give it a chance next year, because I'm sure it's going to be back next year.
Yeah.
I hope people give it a chance next year, because then it might be in a better state. It's just, and I hope people don't go off their first impressions of it this year, because like anyone's game at this early stage is going to be like that.
Yeah. Did any of you guys get to play Never Give Up by Supermassive? Oh, Massive Monster, sorry.
Yeah, I got my ass kicked.
Yep.
And you've already heard that I'm a Celeste fan. Some of those 2D platforming games that just die and repeat, the 2D Souls games.
Yeah, so for anyone that hasn't seen this game, it takes a lot of inspiration from Super Meat Boy, and it's got like a few slide mechanics and that, as well as the wall jumps and that, and absolutely kicked my ass. There's one bit where the missile, I just couldn't get past the missile.
Is it after the wall kick?
It would have been like it's a bit where the spikes get covered up and you've got a wall jump up.
Yeah, wall kick, missile. I didn't get past that either.
Yeah, I couldn't get past that. Yeah, a lot of fun, and the developers actually had a button there where you could hit to give up, just to make you feel better, and I hit that straight away. But you'll hear all about that in the interview we got with.
It doesn't make you feel better,
James.
though. It insults you.
Yeah, well, it's just a button that does nothing. So enjoy the interview, guys. So we're here with James from Massive Monster. How you going, dude?
Yeah, doing well, man. Second day of PAX. It's going to get busy, but it's going to be good.
So I just played your game, Never Give Up. Tell us a bit about your game and what it's all about.
Yeah, so Never Give Up is an iterative, skill-based platformer, and basically the game kind of wants you to make you give up. So you play the same level, but it gets harder and harder each time you beat it. So by the end, it's really difficult, but because you've kind of learnt it through slow repetition, you kind of build up that muscle memory, and you can play these really hard levels that you kind of slowly learn. And the game's trying to make you give up, so there's this big shiny red button that you can press at any time to let you give up, and the game kind of taunts you and makes fun of you if you can't manage to beat the levels. And we got a story with cutscenes and voice acting by Aaron Hansen from Game Grumps, also known as Ego Raptor. And we're hopefully going to have a level editor as well, so people will be able to build their own levels, share levels, play community levels, race like the fastest ghosts and stuff like that.
I'm sure you've heard this way too much, but I guess the obvious draw would be Super Meat Boy, just in the way the gameplay is, and just the way you play it, sort of going back, trying again and again and again. And there was a bit where I was getting hit by the missiles, and I couldn't beat that bit before the time ran out on the demo. But it's a lot of fun. Just for those of you guys out there who aren't aware who Massive Monster are, they're the makers of Adventure Powers. So I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with that game on Switch and PC and other consoles. So how long's Never Give Up been in development for?
So we started developing the game around the same time as we started Adventure Pals. but we're a really small team. There's only 3 of us, so we've kind of been juggling the 2 projects, sort of working on both at the same time. Now Adventure Pals is finished and released, we're kind of focusing on Never Give Up, and we're hopefully going to release it sometime early next year. Yeah, we're really excited to get it out there. It's been quite a lot of work, but yeah, looking forward to getting out there. People seem to be enjoying it at PAX. It's kind of fun watching people get super angry, and but, it's all good fun.
Are people actually getting angry at the booth? Like, just hit? You've got a button there that says "Give Up," so you can just hit the button and just get the stress out.
We kind of got like a proper physical red button made, so you actually have the physical button you can slam down on. We haven't had anyone punch a TV or break anything just yet, but
I took advantage of that button.
We're only on the 2nd day, so we'll see how we look by the end of the weekend.
So what platforms is the game coming to?
So it's going to be on Steam and potentially other platforms, but we haven't announced anything yet. So Steam for sure, and we'll see what else.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you very much for your time, James.
No, thank you so much. Cool. Nice to speak to you.
Thank you. Next up, Aurora of Worlds. Any of you guys get to play that?
Not yet.
No, actually no.
Yeah, so it's like procedural generated. Like, I probably shouldn't compare it to this, but Dead Cells is similar to that. I think like what he's got there is a really it's a good great foundation.
Yep. Where does the comparison come into it? As far as is it like it's a 2D, it's a platformer, randomly generated?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all of that.
Yeah. And melee combat or like ranged, or what is the gameplay like?
It depends on what weapon you have.
Okay, so
I had a sword
because
I'm like, I know how to use a sword. Press the button and you swing it. you got to choose it at the start. Yeah. I quite enjoyed it, but coming straight off Dead Cells, I think it's a hard sell, if you know what I mean. It's like straight after the.
There's something like that anyway. Yeah.
But I'm curious to see where it goes and how it goes.
That's one of the hardest things about making games for the Switch or anywhere right now, but the Switch especially, is most ideas you can come up with have some sort of polished version that's already there, so you really have to have some big difference.
Yeah, and this is the problem. You can't predict the future. You just don't know what's coming out, and you don't know if something with your idea or something similar with your idea is going to come out then, which instantly makes yours look worse. And there's nothing worse than that, but you just can't control that environment.
It's like all these developers coming out with Metroidvanias. There are so many excellent Metroidvanias, whether you're going back to Metroid, Castlevania, or just the slew of them out on Switch.
Exactly.
It's hard to do it. Yeah,
for sure.
So we'll jump to the interviews. Hi, here with Anthony, developer of Aurora of Worlds. How you going, man?
Good, thank you.
Just want to talk a little bit about your game, Aurora of Worlds. It's like a roguelike. Tell us a bit about your game.
Cool. So our game, Aurora of Worlds, is a creative tactics roguelike platformer. We throw you into a procedural death labyrinth. You progress utilizing your wits, your reflexes, and twisting the world to your advantage. There's a heavy emphasis on improvisation. For example, hey, there's a lava pit in front of me. I need that chest. I don't want to burn myself to death, so I could potentially grapple across. I could slow down time, bounce off enemy heads. I could throw in a grenade, setting everything nearby on fire. I could just throw a boomerang to fetch the items safely. Anything that affects you will affect the enemies as well, so you can trick enemies to harm each other. You can manipulate traps against the environment to create shortcuts. Level themes range from like pursuing toxic pollen to passageways full of mines, generous fish, to bosses to take place across the entire level. Yeah, man, this has been quite a long-term passion project. It's been developed since 2013.
Oh, right, wow, yeah.
Was
there anything that sort of inspired you? Like, are you a big fan of roguelike games in general? This is why you want to play it?
We love roguelikes, we love platformers, played a lot of them, so Splunky, Vaganti, Tower Climb, Dead Cells, 20XX, a number of others as well. We like games like Terraria and Dishonored that focus on giving you the spare of options of dealing with multiple challenges. Like, you can deal with a lot of things non-lethally in this game. You can sneak past, and two of the bosses you can completely skip if you know how to.
Yeah, it's awesome because I think I've never really gotten to roguelike games until Dead Cells. now, like, I'm going back and trying a lot. And it's awesome to see developers like yourself, like, really, like, try new things with the genre, and especially in Australia. I love that the Australian community's really coming together for that type of thing.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, and I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a wonderful PAX.
Thank you. Next up is Soundfall from Drastic Games. Talk to Julian there. So we'll jump to the interview straight away. Hey guys, I'm here with Julian from Drastic Games. How you going, dude?
Hey, doing really well, thanks. Really appreciate it.
Awesome. We're here just checking out Soundfall. Tell us a little bit about your game.
Yeah, absolutely. So Soundfall is a rhythm-driven dungeon crawler that's procedurally generated to music. So we follow Melody, a young woman from our world who's mysteriously transported to this world, Symphonia, which is the personification of music. And she has to overcome this ancient evil discord that's seeping back into the universe, save Symphonia, and find her way home, of course.
Awesome. So, sort of the gameplay is fairly unique in the way that it's a dungeon crawler and also a rhythm game. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So all of your actions, you want to do them in time with the music. So if you get them in time, they're way more powerful, they combo together more effectively, and so you can kind of, we sort of think of it like dancing to the music or expressing yourself to the music. Beatboxing is another good analogy.
When I was playing, I was sort of like, you've got your dash, your sword, and your gun, and sort of you're using your gun as like most of the time, like doom, 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 doom. Then you put in a couple of swords, then dash back, and it's really neat. Sort of once you get in the headspace and you got the headphones on, and you're seeing like the pretty graphics and everything. It's really awesome, man.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate that. And you mentioned the environments. The levels and stuff are all procedurally generated to the music as well. So,
really?
Yeah, so we grab a whole bunch of different attributes from the music, like how much bass is there, what's the treble like, BPMs, and then the game goes ahead and puts that all together and then creates a dungeon that it thinks will suit that music. With Symphonia being like the personification of music, we like the idea that each song is like a physical location. If you and I play the same song and you find this really cool weapon in one song that you can say, oh man, you got to go play this and grab this sick loot, and then I have to go to that physical location, which is of course that song.
That's awesome. Are you a fan of like rhythm games? Is that why you're involved with this sort of thing? Like,
yeah, absolutely. I'm no good at rhythm games, but my co-founder Nick is great. Tons of cool stuff. I got started. When we left Epic Games to start this company, we sort of threw around a couple of concepts, and I pitched the idea to Nick of maybe doing a mobile version of Guitar Hero, and Nick didn't like that at all, but he really liked the rhythm game idea, and so we took that and kind of ran with it, and Soundfall sort of where we ended up.
Yeah, because I'm a sucker for these type of rhythm games on handhelds. There's been a couple on Switch which have been a lot of fun, and I really like the Hatsumiku games on the PlayStation.
Yeah. The rhythm game space is really exploding, and it's exciting to see because rhythm gamers are just such a passionate, and I think up until recently they've been really underserved. So we're excited to see that space to grow and get what it deserves.
So how long's the game been in development for? How long have you guys been working on it?
Roughly 2 years. We still expect another year and a half of development. So end of 2019 is the plan of action. Sorry to make you guys wait.
And so what platforms is it coming to?
Totally. We'll be on PC and all three major consoles, so Switch, PlayStation, and Xbox.
Awesome. Sounds fun. I actually cannot wait for it. Playing it here, I got to level 3. About midway through level 3, I'm like, all right, I need some practice. I guess I'll get plenty of practice once the game's in my hands. Julian, thank you very much for joining me today.
Hey, really appreciate it. Thanks so much. You guys have a great time at PAX.
Thank you. So, did any of you guys get a chance to play this game?
Yes, I got a chance to play Soundfall. I think Soundfall was fantastic.
Yep.
The rhythm to this game and the actual feeling of pressing the button, they kind of got down. I wish that we didn't have to play it in this PAX environment, because even with headphones on, it's still hard to get your head in the game and your head in the zone. And it takes a while to pick up. I don't know if you guys ever played Crypto the Necrodancer.
I have, yes.
Oh, yeah,
Fantastic game.
Fantastic game. The first time you pick that up, you're not going to be fantastic at it. You get the idea, but you're not going to be great at it. And I feel like this is the same type of thing. Just one go at this game, and you're not going to get it. But I had a couple goes there, started to get better and better, and I kind of feel that by the end of this game, I'm really going to have those rhythms down, that beat down. I'm going to be loving it. So I definitely had a good time with it. The art style is something that really stood out to me too.
Yeah,
I think they've just really captured this kind of, let's go with this kind of plain, that's a horrible way to explain it, but they've just gone with a very easy on the eye look and then added these splashes of colour that just grab your attention. And they've done a really good job kind of blending that with the music.
Fantastic use of motion and like beats oscillating whenever you're doing anything.
I cannot play that game without beating my head.
Yeah.
Up and down.
Yeah, same.
So
I'm just there going like,
I'm curious. I haven't given it a go yet. Is it that you try to time your attacks with the beat? Or
Yes. So you've got like a bar at the bottom which is like showing you like 1, 2, 3, like whatever the beat is.
Yeah.
Same as Crypt,
Yeah. And you've got your gun, your sword, and a dash. So you sort of. He described it as beatboxing. You sort of just chucking it together, like doon, like mixing it around. And like once you sort of get a feel for it, it's really great. And it was showing me as well. Like he's looking at it, and he's like, I've made this area too big. Like this game's coming out end of next year, so they've still got a while to go.
Yeah.
And he's looking at this area, saying. He's telling me, I've made this area too big. People are backing off from the turret, and they're backing off too far to the point where they're being shot and they can't get back to actually shoot the turret.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Stuff like that. I'm like, well, that's really interesting. Like, so many...
For that sort of... Like, Crypto the Necrodancer had the benefit of tile-based, so it's a lot easier to get the sizing right. If you can see everything, you can see everything.
Up, down, left, right.
Yeah, but that kind of 2D full 360 environment would be such a balancing challenge. Like, I can see why he's giving himself so much longer before the game comes out to try and get it perfect.
And these guys before this were from Epic Games, so they know their way around, and you can see them, they've really come into here with a plan. They've come in here and they're going, we're actually taking data from everyone who clicks a button in this game and seeing if they're before the beat, after the beat, and we're going to go take that back and we're going to take that research into it. So I really think in a year from now we're going to get a great product out of this.
That's really cool.
Yeah, definitely.
Like you were saying before, Drew, you were nodding your head to the beat of it. Same time I was like nodding my head to the beat, I was also hitting the buttons with the beat as well. Instead of like initially when I first started the demo, I was kind of just hacking and slashing whenever. And then I felt like I actually got into a rhythm like I would with a Guitar Hero game or some other rhythm game. So that was really cool.
Any of you guys like really into rhythm games? Like,
I like rhythm games.
Yeah.
I'm atrocious at them, but I very much like them.
Yeah, because I absolutely love rhythm games, especially on handhelds where I can like put my headphones on and just really get into it. On the Vita, I really love the Hatsune Miku games, and I'm really looking forward to this Drum Master game coming out on Switch. Hopefully I'll get the drum and all that.
That's fun as. That Drum Master game is fun as, but I suck. I suck at those. I can't get it down, and I'm always like, I can do that harder difficulty, I know I can, and then I get into it, and I'm just like, nah, I'm out.
Just leave me to SingStar.
It was actually at AFCON. We were playing the PS2 version of the Drum Master game, and I'm like, shit, I need to get this, and found out it was coming to Switch, and
It's perfect.
Yeah, fantastic idea to put that on Switch. Like, I mean, all of those almost any experience was great on Switch.
Let's face it, every experience.
Yeah.
All right, Bryce. So next up, we got the Stormboy interview, so we'll chuck that in.
So I'm here at Blowfish Studios' little stand talking to Sam about Stormboy. How are you, Sam?
Great.
So we just had a bit of a go of the working in progress Switch version that has 4 mini games. Can you tell us a little bit about Stormboy?
So Stormboy is based on the 1960s novel by Colin Tearley. It's just a interactive retelling of that novel where it's more of a sort of hub and minigame sort of experience. Just chilled out, you'll run through hubs, learn bits of the story and play minigames as you go along.
Cool. So this story really hits home for Drew and I because we're actually from the region that it's based in, and we heard it all the time growing up as kids. We travel past the Coorong a hell of a lot. I think so far it's like a real accurate representation. Just so people know, what kind of research did you do going into it just to make sure that you got the accuracy right?
Yeah, so we couldn't afford to fly out to South Australia. We had one guy in our team who is South Australian, and he managed to, I guess, guide us in the right direction a little bit. As well as that, we did some Google Maps research. We hit up Street View and walked all along the beach that way. That was the closest we could get, and tried to do that to nail the art style and nail the environment as best we could.
And the art style is absolutely beautiful, even just swimming under the water and stuff like that. It just all pops out, and it's all really nice and pleasing to the eyes. It really soothing, actually, really soothing game. I can't wait to see it in full release, and I know that Drew will pick it up as well. What do you have a general time frame of when you're thinking it's going to be hitting?
Yeah, so it's going to be hitting Nintendo Switch on November 20th this year, so less than a month now.
That's really awesome. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Cool. Thanks for having me.
Sorry. How long have you been making the game for? How long has it been in development for?
So we were approached in about February to start making the game, and it's probably had about 6 months actual game development time devoted to it.
Cool, very nice. Well, thank you for talking to us, Sam.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll see you later.
And so, Bryce, you're obviously really high. This is one of your highlights. So tell us a bit about that again.
Okay, so Storm Boy, in its essential, is based off of the book, which is a story based in the Coorong about a little boy and his pelican.
Yeah.
Sounds weird when you say it like that. The pelican is called Mr. Percival. They had a tech demo for the game. The boys aren't actually from the region, as you probably heard in the interview, but for someone who travels through the Coorong to get to Adelaide like all the time, it's really brilliant. It's on point. I love the art style to it because it just makes it feel. It has that indie feel, but
they captured the coastline so well.
They did.
It looks like the coastline.
It does.
I pointed it out to Bryce. I'm like, that power pole looks exactly the same, like an old power pole.
Yeah, no joke. They had a diving mini game, a game where you could draw in the sand, one where you slide down a sand hill on cardboard. There was another one as well.
We've got to go in with the expectations here, though. Sorry, go, Bryce.
You're right. Throwing a ball to Mr. Percival. There you go.
Yeah, that was But you got to go in here with the expectations, and I feel like just people should know that this isn't like the mini games. They don't have an objective to finish. They're just mini games to have fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not a game. Adults can play it, but it's not aimed at adults. It's aimed for children. It's aimed to tell a story, an interesting story that I think like a lot of us learned in school because being Australian. But it's
been a long time. It's been primary school for us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't recognise the name as that story, but as soon as you brought it up, it's brought back what that is, and I think it will definitely resonate with Australian culture, and hopefully with more than that as well.
Because when we talked to Sam, he actually said Sony's picked up the rights for a movie, so it's going to be like lined up with.
That's fantastic, yeah.
Have they not already done a Storm Boy movie though?
That's
the older,
that's the
late
last
80s, mid 90s one.
That's the last bit of Storm Boy media I consumed.
Yeah, because I always see that DVD cover at work. It's like,
exactly. Yeah.
Which is still a fantastic movie. What about the ending? Are we worried about that yet? You remember what the ending is?
I can vaguely. I had to ask the dev what was the points in the story because it's been 10 plus years.
Okay,
it's been a long time ago.
I rewatched a bit of it for just before I did planning for the interview, and I thought I'll rewatch it to kind of refresh my memory.
You're prepared. I appreciate.
I went way too far. Way too far.
Watching Stormboy.
But yeah, the ending is just. Let's put it as tragic, and leave it at that. I don't want to spoil what the ending is.
Remember what it was.
Yeah.
But it still looks good though. Like once they actually have the story attached to it and you're going through it and all that stuff, that'd be really nice.
It reminds me of almost being like some of the newer versions of walking sims. You kind of go from minigame to minigame in those where they teach you a story, and it's that sort of idea where it's not quite like some people will argue it's hardly a game because it doesn't have much in it, but it's not about that. It's about showing you this story in an interesting and visual way.
And that's what's it's unfortunate, but that might be what happens with the reviews. You know, if this gets in the hands of like some of the bigger reviewers out there, they're just going to look at it. Hopefully, they're professional enough to look at it in a different light, but they might just look at it and go, "This didn't have enough," as let's call it, game in the game.
Like I said, it comes down to price.
Yeah.
If they want $10. Yeah, fine.
Exactly.
If they want 20 or we're pushing it, if they want 30, it's a no sale.
Yeah. And we don't know how much of that's up to them either. Just like
exactly.
Might be up to the publisher. So.
Absolutely.
It'll be the publisher, it'll be the rights holder. Next up, we talked to Lindsey from Giant Margarita. Played Party Crashers.
Yes.
Enjoyed the interview.
I got it.
Yep. So I'm here with Lindsey from Party Crashers. How you going, dude?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Very good. So we just had to go at Party Crashers, had a lot of time with it. Bryce was pretty good at it. I was...
I think you're okay in some modes.
Yeah, some modes, yeah, all right. So tell us a bit about your game and what it's all about.
So the idea of the game is that it's a last car standing battle royale of vehicular combat. Try saying that 3 times fast. So everyone's racing on the same screen, and if you fall too far behind, you die, just like in speedrunners and that sort of thing. If you fall off the side of the track, then you'll die as well. And we have a heap of different weapons like rockets and sniper rifles and stuff like that you can use to damage each other as well. So you can basically find a lot of different ways to kill each other.
Yep. You're showing us the customization, how there's over 800 varieties of options you can choose from. Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so as you just said expertly, that there are 800 different options, but there's 50 different modes as well. So 800 options is a little bit daunting for a lot of people, but some people really love that. What we've done for the people who find that daunting, though, is just these 50 modes that we've already predefined that we know are fun. So those range from the default mode that's based upon the PS3 game called Wrecked, but also we've got Mario Kart style game in there. We've got an Indy 500, we've got Super Sprint, we've got heaps of different ways to play, like the bus that couldn't slow down. That's one of my favourites, where you're a bus and if you go below a certain speed you'll explode, and we've made sure that there's ramps as well, just like in that movie that I'm not allowed to mention.
Yeah, that's where they got the idea from, was Party Crashers,
That's
wasn't
right,
it? Yeah.
we did it first, and we did Battle Royale first before PUBG did, just putting it out there.
I actually think it's really endearing that you have so many customization options, because it's really down to the fine tune of each individual battle, and I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Thank you. Yeah, the reason we've done that in our local multiplayer games, because we've done that in golf and in our new game, Party Poppers, is that every group of people at a party is different. And so we want people to be able to handicap players, we want people to be able to choose their own house rules, is what we say. And so we've made some nice, easy decisions that we think are right, but we want you guys to disagree with us and say, okay, we hate that, we hate the way that the scoring works, change it. We've given you the option to do that without needing to know how to program or do modding. And of course you can't mod on things like the Switch, so we've given you all those 800 options in a pretty easy to use menu to be able to do that yourself.
Yeah, just like we're doing the normal racing, then you changed it so when you touch the edge of the track, you die straight away. You know, little changes like that just change the whole game, and it just really makes it that much replayable. And if you can instead of maybe having friends over and getting sick of it after an hour, you can play it all night. Just keep changing it up.
There's basically infinite depth in that respect. When you consider the number of combinations, I actually tried to calculate it, and my computer did break because the number is there's like more than 1,000 digits in the number of permutations that you could play in this. Not all of those work, of course, but in Party Golf it was a trillion. In this one it's even more. Like I said, my computer broke trying to work it out. Yeah.
So if people want to look where they can pick up this game or where they can get more information to check it out, where can they go?
Yep, so you can follow us on Discord, on discord.gg/giantmargarita, but we also have a Twitter, which is just Giant Margarita. If you want to try and find us on the Switch store, depending on when this podcast goes out, we might not be on the store because our rating got changed from G to PG because of our company name, Giant Margarita, being an alcohol reference. But we'll be back on the store in a few days. You'll be able to see us there for $15 US.
I hope it doesn't take too long, because a lot of you guys, it's a lot of fun, especially for the Switch audience, where you can put the game down or put the console down and get the Joy-Cons off. It's perfect for that. Only uses 2 buttons and the stick.
Yeah. And it works in single player as well. There's time trials, and our AI is very competitive, so there's a lot of single player experiences on the Switch as well. You can sit on the bus and play our tracks over and over and over. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and enjoy the rest of your PAX.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Thank you. This was one of our favourite games of the show. It's been out for a few months, already, but this was the first time we got to actually sit down and play it.
Yeah.
And like we said, it's a fantastic party game, which I think will stand up next to Smash Brothers and whatever else you've got on your Switch to play when people come over for some drinks, muck around.
So what's the elevator pitch of this game? What sort of party game is it?
Well, it's a car game, like a kart game.
Yep.
But it's elimination based.
Okay.
So one last person standing wins.
Yep.
Everybody gets a score based on that. But there's also a shit ton of options to change how that works.
Right.
You can change the options, perspective. You can make it from the back, like a normal perspective. You can make it bird's eye view. Yep. They've got over 800 customized options.
Yeah. It's huge.
Yeah, so it's really going for that. Whilst it's one base game, you can change it so much that it's...
You make it your own.
Yeah.
The way he describes it in the interview is that it's a game where you can make your own house rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
So everybody will have their own different house rules for Party Crashes.
Yeah.
And that's like the best way you could possibly, put it in. Because you think about stuff like Smash Bros or whatever, when you were kids, you were like, I only use Pokeballs as items, that's all I use, or...
Yeah, and for the longest time, like, Smash has slowly been getting better at being that sandbox where you can really customize it, but it's definitely... You've always felt like there was just that one thing missing that you could really use from it.
Exactly,
So,
yeah. But it feels like nothing's missing in Party Crashes.
Yeah.
Like, your walls can be deadly, you could have no walls, you could have walls, you could have walls that act like Portal. Like, that's just one thing out of the lot. There's
That'd be crazy having
there's
portal
8.
walls.
You can have, based on lives, how many lives somebody gets before they're eliminated, or time. Or
Like, it's really hard to sum up how many actual customizations there is
Yeah,
here.
because you hear a number, it doesn't mean much.
Exactly, but they create party games, this team, Giant Margarita, they just create party games that it's just, you'll be able to play all night because you're going to be playing something different all night. It's not the type of thing where you're going to go in, not like Smash Brothers is this game that has a lot of customization, but it's still not a game that you're going to go in and just go, all right, we're just going to play around with the items all night and just do that. This, you're going to be changing everything you do all night. It feels like you're playing a different game depending on how customization what you customize.
I really hope they have a good randomize button. Just where you can just start it up
actually.
every time with really weird and confusing rules.
What they do for you, what they actually can do for you in both games is they have modes that they've made up themselves and say like
50 of them.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we've hand selected all the options for you to make some really fun modes, and so you don't have to do it. You don't have to think about I'm going to go through these 800 options and what am I going to do.
Yeah.
They've just done it for you, which is like, that's enough to get you a whole night worth of play. Let alone you've got lots of play in the future as well.
Yeah. As you've heard in the interview, you could play this right now, but there is an issue, and it's not on the store at the moment. So hopefully by the time you're listening to this interview, this whole podcast rather, it'll be back up on the store. But do you guys know about what happened?
So I was speaking to Lindsey the other day.
Yeah.
I got to see Party Crashes last year. It was actually one of the few games that I got to play. It was actually my game of the show last year. He's explaining to me that it was going to come to Steam and eventually console. And I don't know who it was I ran into before, earlier on. I think it was maybe Paul James or someone else. I can't remember. And it's like, Party Crashes, like, I got a code for it on Switch. Oh, it's Joel. And then they're here. It's like, oh my God, this game is out October 5th. I usually check the PSN store every Tuesday to make sure I'm up to date with the stuff. So I went over to Lindsey and I said, hey, I didn't know your game was here. Well, didn't know it was out. And I was speaking about curation on the PS Store and also Nintendo Switch, and then explained to me kind of what happened with the rating and why it got changed from a G to a PG.
Yeah, and it's because their team name is Giant Margarita, and they have a Margarita logo,
the logo.
in the opening screen.
Yeah, that does make sense. That would not be G.
That doesn't make sense.
Well,
that's Australian ratings.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense in our very backwards rating system that I somewhat
so
understand.
the kids are enjoying the game. They see a big margarita, so they go out to the pub and they get smashed.
Clear cut. It's video games cause violence and alcoholism.
They really do. I know Bryce is a very violent man, aren't you, Bryce?
Wow. Okay.
Bryce, put down the beer.
Margarita, you mean?
Margarita.
No, you're the teddy bear of the group. It's all right. I'm the vicious one. And today we talked to about projection, didn't we? That was good fun.
Yeah, to another developer. With
Yosha. Yeah, I was just trying to remember the name off the top of my head. Yeah. So, did any of you guys enjoy projection?
Yeah, I played a little bit of it. I think I love the idea behind it and the way it actually works. So it's like shining light to cast shadows, and the shadows are your platforms, basically, that you can find your way around. And what makes it really interesting is that he's played around with the way the light works. So the closer the light is to the platform, the further it'll reach out. And obviously, when you draw it away, it'll make a smaller kind of light pass. And he's got other effects, like he's got his own lanterns and stuff hanging in the games. They're going to try to obscure what you do. It's just basically a puzzle platformer. And I think it's just something that I haven't seen before, and that's what made it interesting to me. And plus, aesthetically, like he's going for the shadow puppetry look. and he's done his research. He's gone to a lot of different cultures and implanted them in the game. So, I mean, that's one thing that I'm kind of looking forward to see where these cultures go with it.
Yeah. So I finished the demo prior to interviewing, and it was really good. I think there's a little bit of bugs to work out there, and I think there was one area where it was just a small corridor, and there was a sort of section up on the top with 2 vases, and they were holding some platforms down. It was your job to sort of find a way to make your shadow raise up that pot so the switch would come up.
Yep.
That was really buggy. I found it really hard to do that. So they've got to insert something there that
because you had the answer, but you couldn't make it work.
No, exactly.
And that is one of the most frustrating things about puzzles. You never want the user to feel like they know the answer and can't do it. You want them to feel like they're trying to figure out the answer.
Yeah.
And if that's either a bug or bad, telegraphing what they're meant to do. Yeah.
Because if you have the answer and you try to do it and it doesn't work, you think that answer's not the right answer and you move on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if it turns out it was the right answer, it just wasn't working, then that's that's how you get frustrated players.
Was it that that was the wrong answer to the puzzle, or was it that the physics were messing around?
No, the physics were messing around.
Okay. I wonder if that's got something to do with the fact that he actually started the game on Game Maker, and now he's poured the whole project over to Unity, and I think he's still getting used to the engine.
It's possible,
Definitely.
I played this game here last year, and it looked great here last year. And PAX was really pushing it last year. It was one of the main games here.
Yep.
And this year it looks like he's had a year of progress. Obviously, it looks a lot more polished, a lot more moved on. He's got the full area finished, like what was in the demo.
Yeah. Now, for sure, despite that, it is a really cool game in its own right.
Yeah.
The demo ended in England, and there was a bunch of goblins, and then a goblin queen. I was just like, oh, I'm interested to see where this goes, because it just reminded me of Limbo in that perspective.
Yeah.
And, Limbo was a massive game back in its day with the spider. Gave up that fight.
Oh, that spider was awful.
I'm pulling all the legs off of it, just...
Oh. Or when you're trying to work out how to sort of get past it, and it just stabs you in the head.
Yeah, all the way through.
Yeah.
That whole game was just full of stuff like that.
I had my spider experience today. Went and played Ashen, and my friend who works on it was like, just go into this cave, and it's just giant spiders. I'm like, I'm good. Don't play this game anymore.
I thought you were my friend.
Betrayal.
Yeah, so that's all the indie games we had interviews for. Were there any other indie games, whether they're not on Switch or not, that you want to bring up, talk about?
I saw that driving one that I can't remember.
Dead Static Drive?
Dead Static Drive.
Yep.
I thought it was a very fascinating aesthetic
Yep.
and a really interesting looking game. I just think it could be one of those great... It's not quite a roguelite, it's more just a randomly generated story.
Yep.
And I think it could be great.
Randomly generated story?
Yeah, so it's not completely random like Dead Cells or something, but they use a lot of... every time you go into a building, that building will follow some rules, but it will be, random where things are. But everything, there's still a set story.
Oh, awesome.
And I think that could be utterly fascinating. That was probably one of the more interesting things I saw. What about everyone else?
Did you guys check out Necrobarista at all?
I was about to say I missed Necrobarista. We actually did get an interview. So we'll chuck that in now. Hey guys, we're here with Kevin, lead developer on Necrobarista. How you going, dude?
Good, thanks.
Just tell us a little bit about your game and what it's all about.
So Necrobarista, it's a visual novel set in a magical Melbourne cafe where the dead come back for 24 hours and a final cup of coffee.
Yep. It's definitely one of those games when you read the description and you look at the art, it definitely stands out.
Thank you.
Among everything here, it's definitely one of the most visually pleasing and definitely unique stories, especially since it's based in Melbourne. It's nice to have. It's always nice to see the Australian scene and games based in Australia. But there aren't many cafes like this. So what? What sort of?
I hope not.
what sort of inspired this sort of take on the Australian cafe?
So, as you touched on, there really aren't any games off the top of my head that are set in modern day Australia. Not that Crocodile Dundee stereotyped Australia, but just a realistic take on what Australia is like. And so we want to make a game that was the badge is right behind it. A game that was set with what we knew, as writers often say, write what you know. And being a visual novel, we wanted to make it very realistic and feel like something that was close to our hearts.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I guess that's the real inspiration behind Necrobarista.
Yeah. So like, it's got like a really unique feel. Like I don't think I've played anything like it. Is it? It's obviously does it have like anime inspiration and stuff like that. Yeah.
Definitely.
So like we've never seen like the Australian scene represented in an anime. So yeah.
The Melbourne anime, that's Necrobarista. I guess kind of growing up in a multicultural background, I grew up watching a bunch of anime, but also like living in Brisbane because that's where my family used to live. I thought like it's just a really interesting cross section that when people talk about something that hasn't really been done before, you often think about mechanics or games like that. But I think in terms of like narrative, there's a lot of narrative like stories that just haven't really been told before. And this is, I think, one of them. And we really want to, I guess, make an anime-style game that didn't just pander to existing niches or existing tropes, and something that was, I guess, very, for everyone.
It's not just another schoolgirl anime.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't want to say that, but like, you know what I mean? Like, I want something that anyone can look at, like, that's cool, and stand on its 2 feet as, like, just something that's high quality.
So how long has it been in development for? How long have you guys been working on it?
So we've been working on it for close to 4 years now. Yep. Game, we're hoping to have it come out early next year. So that's 2019, probably before June. And that'll be on Steam for PC and Mac, and eventually we'll be porting it to Nintendo Switch and the PS4.
That's awesome. Is this your like full-time job, or is this like your bit of a side hustle, or?
This is my full-time job. Our team consists of 4 core members who work on the game full-time, and around I think 5 contractors.
All right. Where can the listeners go and find more information if they're interested?
So you can check us out on our website, which is just necrobarista.com. You can also follow us at our Twitter account at Route59 Games.
All right. Thank you very much, Kevin, for your time.
Thank you.
Mamma mia!
And I thought this was a fantastic looking game. It's based in an Australian cafe, but it's basically the dead come back to this cafe. Right. And it's got sort of point-click adventure type gameplay. It looks really fascinating. This is one of the games that really stood out to me when I was looking through the list of games here at PAX. Yeah. It's coming to PC, Mac, Switch. Not sure about Xbox and PlayStation. I can't remember that off by hand, but we're all Switch people here, aren't we? No, we're not. All right.
Oh, buddy gets outcast.
Yeah, but did any of you guys get to play it as well?
Yeah, I've got to play it. I thought it was really unique looking. They've gone for that kind of anime look to the game.
Yeah, which is good.
Yeah, which is good. I don't watch a lot of anime myself, but like this seems to be something that I would get into just because like I do like anime. I just never get the chance to sit down and just consume something like that. But if I'm playing a game at the same time and I have an excuse to do it for the Switch, then I think this is something that I could get into and just enjoy the story because, like you said, the story there, that seems kind of cool and unique, and it's like based in, like they're kind of basing it around Melbourne and like the accents and the way some of them actually speak it feels like it's part of Melbourne.
There was a part there where like with its art style, they're saying, "Yeah, good aim, mate." Like this is this is not what you expect. This is clashing in a wonderful way.
Did you get a chance to play it, Bryce?
I did not.
Okay.
No, unfortunately. Yeah, I knew it was on our list of things to go to, but. Yeah, unfortunately, it's one of those things. I couldn't even tell you where it is on the show floor. And I think
there are so many indie games here. I think there's nearly 80.
I know, yeah.
And that's half the reason I didn't get to it, because I couldn't find it. So, yeah. But, I don't know, maybe if I've got some spare time today, I'll run over there.
Well, you got probably 2 hours after this.
Oh, we still got stuff to do, yeah.
I know. Yeah. Have you guys still got stuff to do after this?
Not podcast-wise.
Not
Okay,
podcast-wise.
okay. I say me, like I've got a free couple of hours here, so I'm going over to the indie section and I'm just slashing up those indies trying to find something that I can play.
Yeah. Things I recommend: Hunt and Seek.
Yeah.
If you haven't played that. Also, Scout's Honor, of course, which is my game of the show. I keep blabbing on about it all the time.
Yep.
And I think you guys have played the other ones that we talked about more, Soundfall and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But Hunt and Seek was really cool. It's kind of a 3v1 top-down evolve-like thing where your characters are invisible, and if you don't move your character, they light up, so you can be found, so you can't camp, and then you press a button to light up and know where your character is, but that reveals your position for the hunter that's finding you. And each of your 3 characters has a special ability, like a portal to escape or turn into an inanimate object or something to kind of blend. And it's basically hide and seek for the 2 minutes or whatever it was. And that was a lot of fun.
That sounds fascinating. I get to see that one.
Especially if there's a group of 4 or something to get over there.
What platforms are that coming to?
I think from memory it was just Steam or PC at the moment. I can't remember. I think I asked you about PlayStation and I just can't remember. It was yesterday.
It's so hard to know what platforms a lot of these games are coming to, unless they're like they're bigger publishers and they line them all up. Otherwise, you can't tell.
Well, one of the hard things being a very small indie is a lot of the time, if you want to put your game on Switch, you can't start that conversation until it's nearly out already.
Yeah.
You need something to really prove your worth.
It's like Zain, who was doing Brinko. He was explaining how Nintendo is so much easier than the rest to get on, whereas some other developers hate Nintendo, but they're so hard to work with. So
yeah, there's a lot of things with. Yeah, it's really like. I feel like everyone has such a personal struggle no matter where they try to take their game, unfortunately.
Yeah, exactly.
A game I recommend checking out if you get time is called Tech Hunter. It's kind of a... it's like the Zelda shrines, those little contained puzzles.
Oh, okay.
It's kind of a game like that with a sci-fi aesthetic where you go between these little temples, solve a puzzle, collect some treasure, and it's just that. It's kind of more like a relaxing, no combat. Yeah, the type of thing that you put in and be like, I'm just going to go do a couple of these today.
That sounds great.
Yeah.
Can we just talk about like what type of time that we live in now that we almost have a way to describe every game?
Yeah.
Like, it's just Zelda temples or it's just like pulling bits out of a game. We always have a way to explain something.
I do feel bad going to these devs and being like, you see their game and you're like,
oh, it reminds me of
Meat Boy, reminds me of Dead Cells. Like, you feel bad. You feel like you're offending
You feel
them.
bad because they want to be unique. They want something different and they want to stand out. And so it's so hard to do that.
Yeah.
It can be such a struggle as a dev as well. If you're like, say your game started as a spiritual successor to Meat Boy, and it's obviously changed a fair bit, but you, in your mind, still think of it as like, I was inspired by Meat Boy, but do you want to say that?
You don't want to be compared to it.
Yeah, and it's a really fine line to balance.
It does give a fantastic picture of what
it does.
That game is,
especially for a podcast. It's like it's hard to describe what a game is, but if you say it's like the Zelda shrines, but a bit sci-fi and relaxing, it's like you get that.
You stuck it.
Well, it's funny, the girl next to me that was playing Hunt and Seek with us, initially when I was like, oh, it's 3v1, in my mind I said, I think that's kind of like Evolve's premise. And then I'm like, I'm not going to say that. And then the girl was like, oh, this is like Evolve. I'm like, no, quiet down.
Don't talk about Evolve. Don't talk about Evolve.
Yeah, especially like something like Evolve that wasn't successful.
That's right.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing like Evolve.
I have found that a lot of the indie devs are like, this is very Super Smash Brothers-esque. They like saying that.
That is a rough comparison to make, honestly.
It's a game where you've got 4 players, you bounce around and you hit each other.
Good on them if they can successfully make that, but I would be terrified to compare my game to Smash Brothers.
Yeah, especially now with this one coming out.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like polished and huge. And,
Any fighting game's got like that. I don't know how they're going to compete with it these days. It's just so much has gone into this game. It has such a big roster. There's so much going on that anyone's going to struggle.
Well, any publisher will struggle to go against it. Like Sony with PlayStation All Stars 5 years ago.
It's
they
like
didn't hold a candle to it.
And that's the thing. It was a good game for so many reasons, but just a few faults just made it like tank. Like, I'm pretty sure it sold well, but still.
Last year there was a student area where the university showing off their games, and one group was like, "This is based on Super Smash Brothers. We love Super Smash. This is our game." And I was playing it, and it was like so clunky. I don't know how long it was in development for. Obviously, 4 people compared to friggin' Nintendo. I'm not comparing them necessarily, but
that's the thing with those comparisons to Smash Bros. You get stuff like Rivals of Aether, which it did really well. But then
at least they targeted a niche, though. They wanted to be like Melee, it's like, all right, well they at least targeted a little bit more of a niche than just a brawler.
But then you get games like Brawl Out.
Yeah, Brawlout.
Rest in peace.
Brawlout's a bit ordinary. Any of you guys get to play Brawlout?
Ordinary is.
Nah.
Yeah, that's.
No, unfortunately I'd heard that it was ordinary, and I have very little time for video games.
It's
so
not bad. It's just ordinary.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
I don't even know if I have time for ordinary games. A lot of the time I miss good games. Don't think I have time for Red Dead, and it's like one of the like a pinnacle of this year.
That's just where it's gotten to. You know, when the Switch first started, the smaller indie devs were rather lucky, some of the smaller ones, because there wasn't that fierce competition out there.
Yes.
Releasing now, there is so much kind of coming to it, and there's so much already on it that some of these games that succeeded back then wouldn't even be able to do that now. They wouldn't have that same audience.
This week there's only 10.
Yeah.
Next week there's 20 out. Next week there's 30 out on the Tuesday. So
And I love the Switch store, but if you're not doing well, you do get buried rather quickly in the Switch store.
I don't love that Switch store. Oh my god! Like I love the games that are on there, but the store itself it needs some sort of features. It needs more going on there.
They're trying. They've got like the featured section, but it's still like featured Mario Kart.
Yeah, it's like don't feature your own game.
You don't need to feature that.
Yeah. Even the Wii U store was actually pretty decent, just the way it was laid out.
It wasn't too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I just wish I had something like that again for the Switch, because at the moment it's too hard to discover anything. Yeah,
You can only really discover popular stuff, which is nice to an extent. Like, they have that popular indies tab, which is nice, but...
I just make sure if something comes out which I'm interested in, put it in my wish list.
Yeah, me too.
So it doesn't get buried.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't say I remember the Wii U store. I've blocked the Wii U out of my mind.
Good boy.
The what? I can't hear you when you say that.
What's
So we've got 10 minutes left, guys, and I think we'll do a 20 questions based on a Super Smash Brothers character.
Oh, shit.
Okay.
So the Super Smash Brothers characters from Smash Ultimate.
So all of them.
And I've got a thing in one of my head, to be honest. I probably should have prepared this.
Can I see the wall from here? I need to be
You
able to...
can see the wall
You can
from
see the
here.
wall. So
Is
who-
it one of the characters we can see on the wall right now?
Wait, it's gonna be one. It's gonna be one that Drew can see. So we.
So I've got to make it one you can't see on the wall.
Anything over there.
So one you can't see on the wall.
So while we fill some dead air, who's
I've
our
got
main in Smash? You got it?
I've got it.
Okay.
But you go on. You go on.
No. It's good. I'm done filling dead air.
Fantastic. So 20 questions. What Super Smash Brothers character am I right now? Whoops.
Start from Buddy.
Start from Buddy.
All right. Are you in a Mario franchise game?
No.
What is your primary color?
It's yes or no question.
God damn it.
Yes.
Are you a male character?
No.
Okay.
Okay, that would have.
Yeah, that would have a write down. Shit.
Does your character feature green? As in a
No.
lot of green. Okay. That nails out a lot of it, actually.
Is your character from Fire Emblem?
No.
Is your character covered in some sort of fur and or hair?
She has hair.
Okay.
So
okay.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, can we just round up what we have again? I've already forgotten. So we know
So she's
no green.
female? No
Female, not anthropomorphic. So
Not in
human.
Fire Emblem. Not in Mario.
Yep.
Got only like 3 left, isn't there?
Is she in a Zelda game?
No.
Franchise, sorry.
No.
Is she from Metroid?
Yes.
All right.
It's Ridley. Ridley's a girl now.
Wait. So can it be Dark Samus, or?
Yeah. So you got
Yeah.
three. So
Dark
you,
Samus, Samus, or
You've
Zero
got to whittle
Suit.
it down. If you can't
Yeah.
guess straight
Yeah,
away. Yeah.
Is she wearing power armor?
No.
Okay. I wonder which one it could be.
She's wearing a blue latex suit.
She is.
All right.
All right. So that would
know
make
who
it
it is.
Donkey Kong,
So we got,
right?
we've got 9 questions so far.
All right.
Take it home, Eric.
Is it? Can I say Donkey Kong? No. Zero Suit Samus.
Woo.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Wow. What do I win?
Our hearts. A pat on the back. Yeah.
Here's a badge. There you go.
Oh, thanks.
So I was kind of curious to the answer to your question. Who does everyone main in Smash?
Link.
Or
Wii
Ness.
U has been Mario for me. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really play much for Pikachu.
It's a hard question for me lately, but it's always been Zero Suit Samus, or at the moment I'm also playing a lot of Roy.
Oh, yeah. Mine was Snake back in Brawl, but in Wii U, it actually kind of became Captain Falcon.
Yeah, cool.
You don't hear many Captain Falcons.
No,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
he's
that's
not good, but he is fun.
You have to go to Ganondorf now. He's got a big sword.
Yeah, I'm excited to hit people with a big sword.
Yeah, it's good.
I don't want to hear about Ganondorf's big sword, mate. All right.
Buddy, pick one.
Went Link or NES, and that's from the Nintendo 64 era.
Nice, yeah.
NES was really hard to use.
Was it the last one you played,
buddy?
buddy?
It was. So, yeah, very keen for the new one.
Yeah, no, it's going to be really good.
Yeah, I'm going to... let's make a pact now. We're all going to play online together when it comes out.
Yep.
Hopefully the online... I mean, it worked on Wii U, right?
It worked.
Yeah.
It worked, yeah.
It worked.
It was all right. I'd even been playing it recently online.
Okay.
I don't expect it to be any better on Switch, even though we're paying for it either, but here we are.
Yeah. I'm sure it'll be all right.
All right, anything else you guys like to say before we end wrap up the show?
PAX was fantastic, and thank you to Audio Technica.
Yeah, big thanks to Audio Technica for allowing us to record here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cheers.
I think I'd say that if you're from Australia and you have the means to, PAX is a great time. Even just coming for one day to explore the indies, or if you love tabletop games, it's the best place to try them out. Like, come give it a go if you can.
Yeah. It's all about community here, meeting
Absolutely.
people, meeting maybe your favourite YouTuber, your podcasting friends.
Twitch streamers.
And not just that, you get to speak, like, you just get to find out the latest hardware, the latest games. You get to experience that all firsthand, and it's just an experience you don't get anywhere else.
Yeah, absolutely.
Except for everywhere else in the world.
That's why I say, Bryce, Drew, thanks for having me. And
cheers, guys.
My closing word is Celeste Game of the Year.
Very nice.
There you go. Good one to leave off on. All
right, guys. Thank you very much for listening to the House of Mario, episode 69. We're a podcast, a part of the 8-Bit Collective. You can join us on Discord, Twitter, Facebook. Well, no, Instagram. We don't have Instagram. We don't worry about Instagram.
No.
We're a podcast. We don't do visuals. Sorry.
You wouldn't look at us anyway.
Where can they find your work?
You can find me at Nintendo Numbers on Twitter. That'll do. You can find everything I do there.
Yep.
Cool.
Find me at IVRevan on Twitter.
I'm Zain on Twitter, XAUNAUGHT, because no one can ever
It's a
spell
very
it.
easy Twitter handle just to chuck out there.
Yeah, it really isn't.
And I'm at Twitter at BuddyWatson12.
Yes, and of course you can find Dash Culture, a part of the 8-Bit Collective as well. I know a lot of you have jumped on Dash Culture, so
That's it, iTunes and SoundCloud.
if you haven't, what's wrong with you? Come on.
Yeah, come on.
Get
What's wrong with you?
Check out the House of Mario episode on there.
Yeah,
Again,
exactly.
Thanks for having us, guys. Thanks for having us, Audio Technica. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
No worries. And for 1 second, I'll get the Nintendo jukebox ready because I did not actually choose one. It's been
See, this is the part of the show where you're like, talk more.
Yeah.
So he's right now commentating. He's currently going through SoundCloud, looking through his like list. He's nodding his head vigorously, getting ready to find.
Well, I found this. I found the Simpsons Arcade remix by Lame Genie.
All right, cool.
We've had Lame Genie on before.
Yep.
Love your stuff. Simpsons Arcade isn't really Nintendo, but that's what I found. So
It's all right.
enjoy that.
Good work.
Cool. All right. Thank you very much, and we'll see you later.
Thanks,
See you
guys.
Bye.
Thanks.